Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Today I'm flying the P-59A. Before I talk about what this plane actually can do, let me clarify what it is. This is the very first rank 4 or tier 4 jet in War Thunder period, number 1. Number 2, it is the second reward plane for the ongoing Operation Heat, aka the 2019 summer event marathon. And number 3, I just got reported in chat for practically flying this thing because I got it in advance. I, alongside many other content creators, streamers, YouTubers, got the offer from Gaijin to request this thing and then actually getting the event vehicles. And I think, credit where credit is due, it is a very smart decision from Gaijin for all of us, because I would probably get those planes, tanks and ships anyway, either by playing for it or for those that I can't get, requesting them. But it is important that I get it in advance before the event is mostly over, so that now I can give you the information, or I can give you information so that you can decide whether this plane is worth the effort going through the tasks or paying it out for golden eagles or not. And so this is now where the information is critical when it comes to the time. No, I didn't hack, I in fact got it from Gaijin, and I get this question a lot, nearly in every single battle. And now I also want to answer, Napalm, how's this plane? Well, in a nutshell, I think that it is decent, it has its strength, but I don't really think that this is a game changer. Yes, it is a jet, yes, it has a very low battle rating of 5.3, but in my opinion, in many aspects, a lot of prop fighters are just simply outstandingly better and more versatile. You have to see, when you look at the armament, that this plane has 350 cals with 1800 rounds and a single 37mm with 45 rounds. Yes, they are centralized mounted like on a P-80, but the thing is this, that's all you get. No rockets, no missiles, no bombs, no additional gun pods, that's it. And yeah, the 50 cals, the 3 are always reliable. You have a lot of ammunition, 600 rounds per machine gun, that's really nice. And then the 37mm. We have to talk about this 37mm for a moment. When you land a shot and it actually deals the damage and you one-shot the plane, that's really sweet, that's really cool. But you have to pretty much do it with the first shot, because from the third shot onwards the dispersion is just going absolutely wild and you have a rather short overheat time. It is an M10, a 37mm cannon, and that means that it is the very same as on the King Cobra A10 and C5. So if you have experience with them, if you like throwing watermelons at the enemy, then this is actually a good cannon. If you don't like it, for the sad reasons, well, you gotta learn how to deal with it if you really want to go with this plane, or you just rely on the 50 cals because they're really strong. So here I'm fighting with the Zero, and you can see the next thing about the plane, and that is a very good thing. It is very good at turning. However, it also has some difficulties, in my opinion, with the rudder, with the controllability. So while the elevator is really strong, the precision of the plane really isn't. So it wobbles a little bit, and also it just isn't really responding to the maximum. However, if you know how to deal with it, if you know how to just turn the plane correctly, then that's not such an issue. However, while it might turn really well, this is a jet after all. So do you have a speed advantage, an acceleration advantage, any sort of advantage compared to a prop plane? No, not at all. This plane cannot really zoom climb all that well. This plane doesn't really accelerate all that well. It can dive very well, although then you are really in the risk for an overheat, an overcompression, and you just get ripped apart at like 800 kilometers per hour. But you can see you can easily pull 10 Gs, and if you time it correctly and you picked up speed, you actually can zoom climb for a bit, and then you can get shots of like these. Beautiful. So the plane definitely has its moments. The plane has a really big strength with this very good turning ability. That you make it actually work in battle is down to you. So I think when it comes to the performance, the plane keeps its speed very well at low speed. But the acceleration, while it is possible to reach high speeds in a straight line and try to zoom climb, it just simply takes too long. The acceleration is really low, and wow, that was beautiful. You know, with moments like these, it looks like it works. But turn fighting at this battle rating is a dangerous thing, especially with American planes. While eventually you would win the dogfight, I think it just takes so long, it drags you low, or the enemy drags you low, and then you have the simple problem, as a matter of a fact, that a second enemy fighter comes in, a third enemy fighter, and then you can turn like a Zero, you can turn like a Soviet biplane, it doesn't really matter. Somebody's gonna hit you, somebody's gonna delete you, and your plane overall is pretty fragile. So I prefer the hard hitting, fast movers at this battle rating that go in, get off a few shots, and then zoom away, practically boom and zoom. Or that just even can escape, that have the acceleration to get away with. And yes, I know that this turn fighting capability is very tempting, and people are comparing this to a Spitfire or a Zero already. And I have to say, yeah, it doesn't really fly like a jet. It doesn't really behave like your normal first jet, where you have to really learn how to jet like a P-80, an F-80, or an Me-262. Therefore, to name here also a very early jet. It behaves more or less like the first Meteor, and the top speed is also limited, and you can actually in a hard dive rip your wings, and that is really not nice. And you get into a lockup, and that lockup is also, while it's still manageable and controllable, it's still not that great. So that's this plane's performance, and how does it fit into the meta. So the question is if it is worth it. And obviously that question is down to you. Are you a collector? Are you looking for unique, rare stuff? Then I think the answer is yes. Do you really want to use this for grinding? I think you can use it if you really want to go for it, and you don't want to pay Gaijin any sort of money for premium. Then this is your chance to get one. However, there are certain limitations. So first of all, to grind the entire tech tree as a tier 4, it is not suitable for researching the tier 6 jets. Therefore, you need to buy the F-86, F-35, or get a talisman on at least a rank 5 jet. That's number 1. Number 2, there is the actual income. The research modifier is 1.66. That's not really that high. So 2.0 should be the standard. If you look at the new A2D1, it is 1.9, etc. And over time, it gets just simply into that for the same actions you don't get the same reward as with premiums that have the higher Silverline and RP modifier. Talking about Silverline modifiers, it is not the new 2.5, which is the highest. No, it is 1.8. That is a significant gap between the best premiums and this one. You still will make more credits and RP than with a regular tech tree plane, but compared to some of the best premiums, it's somewhere right in between basically. And it is down to you if you accept this, or if you think you want to research harder and want to spend even more money at Gaijin, on Gaijin. So it is down to you. And here we are, and this is now the last player on the enemy team that got killed. And here a nice little tip. Even though he already got killed, he is still, you know, in this state where you can get an enemy kill assist just for the sake of it, and I think that's really nice. So that was the best battle that I could do in this plane, but I didn't really play it all that much. I think its turning capabilities are really nice, and I think that the armament, despite not being the hardest hitting and not the most reliable, think about the only 350 cals and the single 37mm M10 mounting, like on the A5 and on the A10 and C5 Air Cobra, King Cobra rather, it just sometimes has its moments of glory and sometimes it's just not enough. And here we can see the results: 90,000 silver lines and 13,200 research points. That's a good income for 4 player kills and 1 AI unit and 2 enemy kill assists. That's it for me today. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that the information that I gave you was helpful in deciding if you get it or not. And yeah, give this video a like if it is, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, on the battlefields, and in the skies of War Thunder.